All right. Hey, good morning, folks. We're going to do some artwork here for the adventure you see on screen here, Crystals of Mabar. Give me a second while I check to see if we're live. I'm going to go through a quick intro here. If you're already familiar with the channel, you can skip ahead a minute. But otherwise, check, mic check. Otherwise, check. Okay, that sounds pretty good. So let's drop that down so I don't have to hear it so much. I'm going to do some social media postings here and tell you who I am, what we got going on here. So my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And we are, as I said, creating an adventure for the Eberron campaign setting in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition using 2024 rules. I've been running games in Dungeons & Dragons since 1987. Yeah. And I've been an Eberron enthusiast since 2004. I've been a freelance illustrator in the RPG industry since 1999. And I've been creating content on the DMsGuild for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition since 2018. But I have yet to produce any adventures. So I'm rectifying that. And since Eberron is my favorite campaign setting to use in homebrew, I've decided to give them homage and use Eberron. So one more second here and we'll be good to go. Click over. Fix my screen and just wrap things up here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications. We're live in the future. We are at episode number 400 of us creating content for this adventure, including all the maps, illustrations, tokens, page layouts. You can take the journey if you want to tag along. Otherwise, know that it's all here in backlog as a reference to the production process. I need to turn this down just a smidge. Hey, Francois, how you doing, my guy? There, that should be fine. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and get to work. Book cover we made around episode 40. You can check that out if you want to check the backlog. We are working on Undead today. We finished our 2 frontmost skeletons. We're going to start in on the 3rd. And this is a horde of undead that can rise if your team doesn't take care of the threats in the adventure. This is a Yugoloth that is a demon of the Plane of Mabar that is in control of the undead. And hey, what's up? Is this about to go like that? Well, I really appreciate that, man. You have a great rest. Appreciate you being here. Let's drop these guys out of the way and isolate the zombie that we're going to work on right now. We'll drop the haze. We'll drop the back line. And we'll drop the Yugoloth. And we'll pull in the references here for color if we need them. And let's grab the front end zombie over here. That should probably be good. And where's my pen? Where's my pen? There's that. I'm going to take a quick sip of water and then back it up with coffee. All right, good to go. So let's see. You know what? You feel a little off kilter here, buddy. I need to reduce the size of that head a smidge. Or maybe it's the body. Yeah, I probably need to bump the size of the body just a smidge, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. First, we're going to make sure that we have our, we do the line art. Okay, so the process that we do. We have line art, and then we add in base color, and then we do the base, the form shading of the color, and then we fuse it all together. Oh, hey, for 12 on. Have you been to Ivers? Yes. Yes, I have. Ivers makes damn good fish. It is where Long John Silver's is McDonald's. You could say that Ivers is an actual pub that makes burgers. Like that's the comparable difference. Yeah, Ivers, good fish. Good fish. I haven't been there recently, but there used to be an Ivers down the street from me. I used to eat there all the time. Yeah, no kidding. Thanks for the flashback. Let's see, we get the bone going. I want to Yeah, let's add some more. Let's add some more flump here and let's get some more guts and entrails spilling out of this dude. This is where we want to be at. Like that. There. Ivers. Ivers has the best Super Bowl commercial ever. Look up Ivers Super Bowl commercial. It's like 10 seconds long. It's great. So today's going to be, normally I would stream on Tuesdays. I don't think I'm going to have the time to do that today. I get to venture downtown into Seattle. I have a quarterly event that I participate in at the home office, kind of a show up and confirm you're not a robot sort of event. So that will be occupying my afternoon. So this is the only time I'm going to be streaming today. I'll be back on tomorrow to continue with the martial powers updates. Our team got 4th level last night in the mega dungeon playtest that we're running for martial powers. So they get to take their first feat. One of the fun things about the martial power system is instead of learning a power like a caster learns, like casters prepare spells, right? And you have a number of cantrips as well. The martial power system has you can prepare powers if you want to that require mana for you to spend, but you could also, instead of having a power, you can take feats, and you don't gain any stat bonuses when you take a feat this way, but you also don't have any prerequisites, so you can acquire a feat. You start with 4 powers at 3rd level, which includes fighting styles, weapon masteries, and actual powers that you would pay for. But if you wanted to, you could just have a whole stack of, like, at 3rd level or at 1st level, you could have 4 feats, and 3rd levels where we were at yesterday, we have some builds that are just 6 feats, while others are like a mix of feats and weapon masters are considered feats with this system. So like the open hand has stacks of weapon masteries that they can use with any weapon that they want. Assuming that, like, you can't use cleave with a ranged weapon, you can't use grapple with a ranged weapon, you have to use nick with a light weapon. But otherwise, it's really open-ended. So there's all sorts of really neat builds. Like the Wizards of the Coast keep saying that the reason they don't go with a Battle Master as the base class is because people want simplicity. But the simplest way to give people options, and if they want to make it simple for themselves, is to allow you to have additional feats if you want. That is the best way I have found to better represent a martial character. You can either focus on feats that don't require mana at all, or you can lean into flash bang, super impressive. It'll cost you mana, so you can only do it so many times sort of powers. Would it be too much effort to make him hold his guts in with one hand? Actually, no. Well, it probably wouldn't be too much effort, but I want to make this belly open because this one's going to be, this is what you would call a fresh dead, as opposed to this guy's long dead. Long dead are covered with crystals, are far more skeletal, very fortified, robust hit points. But the, that's a good point. You're not supposed to have crystal lumps on you. Because fresh dead are recently killed creatures that get infected with a fungus that glows green, and when this undead is hit, they burst and create a 5-foot radius area of this. It's called Letharia vulpina, and it creates the stinking cloud effect. So if you're inside the space of where the fungus is at, or if you're grappled by this creature, you have to make a stinking cloud saving throw that if you fail the Constitution saving throw, it makes you sick and you lose your action. So I specifically don't want it holding its guts, because the goal of this creature, the DM's goal using this creature, is to have it spit its guts out at you, which would defeat the, holding them in would defeat the purpose. It's a great narrative idea, and I commend the concept. But this one in particular is demonstrating a unique undead that we created for the adventure. So in that instance, no, I cannot. But I appreciate the thought. I also kind of think it's antithetical to for an undead to try to hold its guts in, because it doesn't care. There, like that. Yeah. Ha! Glowing concept. Thanks, Francois. That'll be the once we finish the corpse, we'll then put in the vulpina, and then we'll have the lighting effect from the vulpina, like underlight its chin and stuff like that, because it creates dim light in a 5-foot radius around it, and so most of the manifest zone is steeped in this thick fog that blocks the sun, because the plane of darkness shouldn't have sunlight. But it's just covered in these patches of vulpina all throughout the manifest zone. So it's got this like floor lit, greenish, putrid light that lights up, and then it radiates the fog that's blowing across it. So it has this eerie glow all throughout the manifest zone. And once we add all these back in, and we work, like we've got this mist layer that we're working with right now. But once we complete it, this mist, we're going to convert it to that same iridescent glow that's underlighting things, and then we can look at like underlighting stuff with that glow effect. I just want to get the whole structure in place and see how the smoke is, the fog is going to roll with the corpses, and then we'll be able to underlight them to have that environmental effect integrate in with the piece. So it'll be lighter on the ground and darker towards the sky, and hopefully that's going to be super creepy and look really cool. That's the hope. So I paralyzed most of my party from retching. They entered a ruin where they found a morbidly obese ogress, out of breath, and on the floor she lifted her length. Oh God. Okay, well, hey, thanks for sharing that, buddy. It's that's a fairly Path of Exile sort of concept. That is gross. That is gross. We're going to take this arm, and we're going to push it back behind the piece once we merge everything together. Let's drop that out. Wrong button. Let's see. Oh, yeah, we want to be over here. Let's grab some of that. No, that's too dark. Here. Yeah, that's how we wanted it. Good. Good, good, good. Yeah. And hold on, let's see. I bet that'll work. Let's see, where else do we want to be? Pop, down in here. Nice, like that. Yep. the further we move away from the camera, the less detail I need to place, so it becomes faster to produce these, which was always the plan. You start with the most detail. There's two ways. There's two ways of doing illustrations, and I use them both. In environments like forests, wilderness settings, environments, I work from the background forward, so that I can have layering effects, so you can have that rotoscopic sort of parallax feeling of an environment overlapping each other. And then for objects, creatures, items of interest, I work the most detail closest, and then I back off the detail as I work my way back. So I've got background gaining detail as I move forward, and then I've got my objects with high detail, and then I work away the detail in the back. So it's a fun contradiction, and it lets me switch gears in the middle of working on a painting between the two modes, which I enjoy. I haven't done any environment landscape paintings recently, other than the up a tree, NPCs caught inside of a tree. That was just foliage and bark, but which doesn't really count. It's not a full environment. It's not like I'm painting a wilderness setting with like mountains and happy trees and stuff like that. And I think we're going to do some buildings and structures like of Ader Academy and stuff like that at some point during this. I haven't gotten there yet, but we will. Made progress last night on the layouts. Again, the layouts for this project have been my absolute nemesis, because working in the 16:9 format has been a big challenge for me. If it was a standard 2-column 8.5 by 11 format, I'd probably be done with the layouts already. But alas, the project takes the time that the project needs to take. But once that's done, I'll be able to do artwork at night as well. And sometimes when I get stuck on a spot at night, I will instead switch gears and work on continuing artwork that I've started, like with this piece. Like the second zombie we finished last night, because I needed to take a mental break from the layouts that we were working on. But they're starting to come together. It's each page is its own challenge, and if you see the Spelljammer production stream that I ran when I built the Spelljammer book, you could see me struggling with page layouts occasionally, but that was for educational purposes only. But it's I just these page layouts are just monsters, but it's going to turn out really, really nicely when it's done. Oh yeah, well, hey, Nurgle forever, my man. Just did not expect the punchline of that statement. Let's not speak of that Ogress again, for my own stomach. I've played Warhammer Fantasy once, and I've never actually played the tabletop war game. Though I am an army enthusiast in role-playing games. Let's grab this here. So no harm, no foul. Just did not expect it. And let's grab here. Add a little dark bits like that. Nice. All right, cool. And so that's the base. And base, how low can you go? Line. Duplicate. Merge. I merged it all into one group so I can cut through it. And now I can, first off, let's carve that arm out. Like that. Merge down, and now I want to take the rest of the body see, that's proper proportions there. Now I can actually reduce the head a smidge now. Whoa. What the hell is going on out here that's got you doing that, buddy? Let's nib all that. Do a little bit of cleanup. Let's drop the rest of the line in so we can see how you line up now. About like that feels right. Now let's drop in the rest of the piece to make sure you're sitting pretty. There, that feels pretty good. Thank you. I've got a weird, I think one of my light bulbs is starting to die. I've got this weird strobe. There, that stabilized it. Yeah, that feels good. Cool. Everything is where it's supposed to be. All right, so back on this guy. Yeah, so we're going to blip him out, merge all of this together, and then we'll add in the Vulpina, and then we'll move on to the next piece. The smaller they get, the faster I can move with them. I mean, like, it took like 3 sessions for me to finish the up front guy, and then it was 2 sessions for there, and then we've still got an hour left, and we're already this far away on this piece. So we'll have this one finished today and potentially starting on the next one. So we're moving faster as we keep going, which is great because this piece should be done. It's anxious to be done and me move on to the next thing, which is going to be a whole bunch of artifacts over here. So we're working on these different objects, artifacts that are connected to their respective planes, and we'll talk about them as we go through the process. But the Eye of Mabar is just one of 13 different artifacts that if the team makes a if you make a campaign out of this, and the Crystals of Mabar would be the the first adventure that the team progresses on. And like if this is 7th level, then you have 7th level, and then 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th level. You can get all 13 artifacts assemble, and then your 20th level you can spend reshaping reality and fighting greater powers that might attempt to take the artifacts from you to rebuild the multiverse as they please. Hey, timely timer, let's keep it going. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee since my timer popped. Nice. Clean up the line art, the comic book line art framing. I want to erase the thicker bits and then blend in the internal space so it looks less comic, more semi-real, to match the general style of the rest of the piece, the rest of the publication. There, good. Then we can just basically use the smudge tool that I use as basically like a putty knife to be able to push the color around the page like it's clay to get the shape and the look that I want. Which is not an unusual means of illustration that I use. A lot of artists will just paint over, like if they need to, like they'll sculpt the shape that they want with the paintbrush to precisely frame the color that they want. But I don't know what the piece looks like. Maybe some artists, I know there are some artists that can like actually visualize exactly what they're thinking of and then be able to take it from their head and reproduce it like they're looking at it onto paper or onto the canvas. But I cannot do that. I have a vague idea at best of what it is that I want, like an archer or a lurching undead, and then I just kind of talked about this before. I haven't really talked about it recently because we haven't used the same style of approach. But a lot of times I just do like an outline and then I start to fill in the pieces. Other times I just do a bunch of squiggle, like we did on this piece here. I'll conceal that, and then here. Like this is how the undead. I took a big slash out of it because I was working with it. But like this is the general like gesture shape that I'll use when I'm creating an undead, and then as I go through, I'll refine the shape, but I'll leave the initial impression stuff underneath it and just make sure that it fits the space properly. But I'll start off with just like squiggles, and then I'll refine the squiggles into the form that I want, and then I'll refine the form into the details that I want. but I'll leave all three of them together so they stack up to create this added layer of texture, color, interaction. It allows me to get basically more more texture, more. It's not really detail, but more noise than what I might otherwise like plan for. So if I leave all the haphazardness to it, it gets integrated into the piece. So it keeps the energy to an extent, like the spirit of what I started with stays into the piece without overwhelming it with its sloppiness, but that randomness still lives inside of the piece, and that's like an animus energy that I like having present in my work. Which is primarily a color process. If I start doing just pen ink for, like, say, Kickstarters that I can actually print, because I don't print in color, because I don't think it's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult for me to do color proofing since I don't actually see any color. When I get a physical copy back, I might not understand what's wrong with it. Print on demand is pretty good. If you have simple color, you can generally accurately, what you paint is what you print, sort of translation. But in the past, I've always worked with professional art directors that take on the responsibility of color correcting the PDFs that I send themselves, which is why when you're doing print work, a lot of times your art director that hires you requests the PSD or whatever file format you're working at in separate layers. Like, keep the layers open so that if they have to do color correcting, they can go in and effectively do that. Which has always been really fair to me because I've never been an art director until I started making my own books. So I just got to make the thing and then not have to worry about the proofing process. But if I'm going to do Kickstarters, I have to start doing proofing, which means I'm going to want to work in black and white only. So I don't have to worry about proofing it. It's just going to be black and white line art. It's either going to be dark enough or it's not. And that's very easily controlled. So that's a personal limitation I have because of the equipment I was born with. To not see color has been an interesting challenge as somebody who is just obsessed with painting. I thought I had hit a glass ceiling back in around, it was around, I think 2001, 2002, that I started working in color. The market globalized to the point where print on demand was able to start accepting color, and high-speed broadband internet access was becoming global as well. So I was competing against other artists like in Europe or Asia or South America that didn't have the same level, high cost of living that I did here in America. So it became more and more difficult for me to be able to compete on the international stage. When it was just black and white art that we were producing for print on demand, I was making pretty good money and looking at going full time. But the industry shifted to color, and I'm glad I didn't decide to make my full life income require artwork, because I would have been screwed. So although I think ever since then I've been a little bit gun shy about attempting to go full time with artwork, because that was such an industry disruption, and it hit me so hard that I am averse to risk. And so if I can have a happy life but only do this as freelancing, as a side shuffle, then that's how it's been. if reality is going to change and have me do this task full time, it will put me in a situation where I will only be doing this. Either because I become outrageously successful for some crazy reason out of nowhere, or probably more likely, I get laid off and have a hard time finding an actual job. So I would then be forced to lean into it. That is not a request to the multiverse to have me take on that challenge. I feel challenged enough as it is, but I also don't dictate the next challenge that I face in the stage of life that I'm in. So I'm just recognizing the reality of it. And so we will see where life takes me. Whatever the next challenge is, I'll obviously be ready for it, because I wouldn't reach the next stage if I wasn't if I hadn't cleared the previous stage, you know, in the video game of life. There, like that. Good. And I just want to blend in this line art so it has a consistent texture and feel throughout the full piece. And then we'll add in the Volpina, and we'll probably be done for the day. So like I said, I'm going to venture downtown today on a once per quarter field trip that I take to my day job to show face and confirm my presence. Play some corporate cornhole or whatever games it is we're going to play. Nice, there we go. Just blend that outline in. We don't need the outline. Shade and form. The outline becomes form shadow away from the light of the camera. It's capturing the scene. There we go. Up the intensity of the smudge so I can push these pixels around a little bit easier. And then nice, like that. Like that. Looks cool. Blend that in just to make it not look like paint strokes. Nice. Yeah, that feels good. I love that. I love that papery peeling effect. Good. I'll smooth that shoulder out a little bit to get rid of the Aranous crystal look. There we go. Yeah, like that. Just working our way through the body, getting all the line art merged in and blend. Dee, dee, dee. Ooh, my tummy's grumbly. I put some more coffee in my belly. Help stabilize that raw. So this whole area basically here is going to have the fungus coming out of it. So I don't need to worry too much. I want to have the structure in place so I know how to pin the fungus to its innards, but the innards themselves are going to get covered with the fungus. Nice. Almost there. Stay on target. Just keep blending it in. Once this adventure is done, our primary project is going to become updating the color mana system that we already have published on the DMsGuild. It was my first major. It was my the core mechanics of that system of using color mana instead of the 8 schools of magic and using mana points instead of spell slots for D&D. That was the first major production that I produced myself, and it's aging. It is aging. The 2024 rules update was the perfect excuse for me to go revisit that because it's got some real haggard illustrations in it. It was an ambitious project for me who had never created any PDFs before, and it looks pretty rough. So I am looking forward to giving it just a general glow up, as well as all the revised rule mechanics for like the color system and research and the class options that are now in the 2024 book. It's a great opportunity for me to be able to rebuild those books. And it might not be, I don't know, it might not be the most important thing to do ever, but it's what Color Man is what I'm passionate about. Absolutely love it. So I want to update it. I have no idea where D&D is going or like how popular it's going to remain or whatever. Just don't know, but it's what I'm passionate about. So it's got to be the right thing for me to do. Hey, where are we looking at on time? Oh, I've got another 20 minutes left. We're doing great. So if I can finish up these legs, and we'll be able to move on to the Vulpina. I can feel there's a change coming that's going to happen while I still want to do this content, which probably isn't good news. But I want to stick through what I started and finish the things that I committed to. Before really reassessing where am I supposed to be and what am I supposed to be working on. From there, feels right. There, like that. Nice. Let's grab some of that. Good. Like that. Almost there. Stay on target. Almost there. There we go. And are we now at a place where I can start adding Vulpina? I think the answer is yes. Nice. Okay, I'm going to hit save real quick. And now we're going to go fetch some the fungus reference that I have already. Just waiting for this thing. You know what? This is a great opportunity for me to take a drink. Cool. All right, now I'm going to open. Let's go to crystals. Let's go to art. Environment, handout, intro, production. Where is it? Doors and things, landscape, grid. What did I put it under? Flora. There it is. Whew, that fidelity. All right. This is what the moss looks like. So we're going to grab this base color. We're going to You know what the right way to do this? Is to start with a base outline, a sack. Like that. Fill the body cavity. We'll use our fog brush or cloud brush to blend this into the body here. Spilling out of its innards, out of its throat and face, as well as out of its belly, body cavity. Like that. There we go. And now the next layer. Want to have it inside. We want the dark base underneath, like pinning the growing mass of fungus on top. So we're doing this layer effect. That. Thick mass here. There, good. A little bit more on here. And then we stack another layer on top of that. We just keep building it up. Good. And then thicken that up here. Nice. And next effect layer is grabbing that lighter pip, and then we'll start doing a glow effect on stuff. So I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to start peppering this stuff in here like that. Do we have time for this? Yeah, we still got... I've got 20 minutes left on the block, so we can probably get this effect done in here. Just do little marks, little chicken scratch, stippling, little lines to help create the form of the mass. Then we erase at it a little bit. Like that. Scratching away on it there, and then here, almost there. I gotta be careful not to rush the process. Make sure I get the texturing right. I'm going to take a larger eraser. I'm going to use a low strength erase tool so I can scratch around the edges to peel away any loose strands that are sticking out of the mass. Help soften it a little bit inside of the form. And then I can duplicate that layer. Underneath it, let's go. Oh, so I now have a stack of the same layer. And so on the second stack, I want to take a filter. And then we're going to blur. Do a Gaussian blur. There. Trim at the edges a little bit again. Do a frame lighting here. There you go, like that. There we go. All right, so there it is. And it is, it's 7:50. Not bad. Here in Seattle, we're good to go. And so I'm going to pull this together. And now we have that lighting reference available for us to, when we add the mist back in, we'll be able to twinge it with this, we'll be able to change it to this light color here. Have it permeate the page. And take this bit here, drop it into references. Yeah. Whoop. Add the rest of the crew back in. A little bit of different, just a little bit more than I want to do here. Overlays. I want to overlay this, and then we'll fade it so it's a darkening effect, so that the detail of this arm doesn't interfere with the detail of the other arm of the undead in front of this one. Add that in here like that, darken it in. All right, we can leave that like that, and we can grab this here. Lock that in place, take that one out here. Yeah, we'll individualize each layer of fog to affect them separately. I think that'll work out okay. Let's see. Let's take that out there. Let's. So I'm probably gonna need to highlight this this arm here. Nice. Cool. Okay, I'm good with that. So far, so good. All right, when we come back tomorrow morning, we will work on the next, which is the Lurching Soldier. I'll need to increase the size of that shield to match the size of this shield and this shield. It's a little too small, but that'll help block in the legs down here on the groping ghast. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Looking good. All right, so yeah, that's it for now. I'm going to bounce out of here. It's just about 8 o'clock here in Seattle, so it's time for me to log out. I won't be back. This is the only time I'm streaming today, so I'll be back tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow's Wednesday, yeah. And then we'll work. We'll have a lunchtime tomorrow that we'll be working on Martial Powers Rangers and Paladins tomorrow at lunch. We'll work on this some more. We'll keep moving forward. So thanks a lot for folks that are tuning in. Thanks a lot, Francois, for the conversations. And I will see everybody in the future. Cheers.